bienvenue, welcome once again. I've now named this little section of peace and humanity or humility as property musings. There we go. Chris just smiled wryly when I said that, so I assume that's okay. So welcome to Property Musings, and the more astute amongst you will notice Chris Gilsenan, who made an amazing appearance early on in the day with Property Quorum, which was rather good. Guys, shameless plug, 10 o'clock every Thursday. Go and check it out. It was actually a pretty good one today. Some great tips and tricks there for ensuring a good buy or a good buy, a good purchase and a rational one. But today we're talking about issues that are more close to home. We normally use this as a point where Gareth and Chris have a good old moan about what is going on in the property market. But here's an interesting one. Chris has just got too many deals on the table.
Yeah, what a good problem to have, eh?
Well, it's the opposite of the problem that most people were having a few months ago, where they couldn't find a property for love nor money.
Yeah. It's normally part of the course that we either run out of deals or run out of money. So this week, I guess we run out of money because we have too many deals that we can't monetize.
Well, yes, I mean it's just that you're spoilt for choice in ways.
Yeah, we've had another 4 come in this week, which we don't have the capital at the moment in the business to purchase these ourselves. So we'd probably be looking to source these on. They're great deals. It's just a case of I think a lot of our buyers they're either maxed out or they're currently sat on their hands waiting for a couple of different things to happen. Obviously, it's election day today. That could be one of the reasons why people are sat on their hands, because some of the party politics that's going on sounds like lunacy, and some of the policies that
it is to me it appears to be crap or crapper. And I made a earlier on a closet reference to Brewster's Millions, if anybody remembers that, when there was at one part he set up a political party, which I'm absolutely of a mind to do myself, called None of the Above. And Chris, if there was that box on the ballot paper,
it'd be a landslide.
It would be a landslide. All right, so but we're not a political show, so let's not do that. What I would like to know is let's take a little bit of prehistory. What do you think has caused it to get to this point? I mean, I remember we had a discussion going back a few months where you said, well, there isn't that many good properties to choose from, and now you had so many good properties coming in that you've maxed out your own spending budget.
I think sellers are definitely coming back into the market with some vigor. I think we've probably been a bit neglectful in trying to onboard new investors or new capital. So that's why we've run out of both capital and investors at the moment.
Right. It's not you run out of capital because you haven't been getting enough back in the coffers. It wasn't that. You have absolutely the predicted amount in there, but there's been a surfeit of properties that you would ideally like to do because you can see there's a profit in them.
Yeah. I also think that there's some level there's a confidence issue still, or there's an expectation of a rates cut that's on the horizon. There's expectations of possibly 2 rates cuts coming in further down this year. One maybe in the next month or so.
A rates cut.
Yeah, with the Bank of England. Yes, yeah, which will have obviously it'll have an impact on lending.
Yeah, but I just don't think that's to me that sounds craziness though. I remember we discussed this again. Forgive me for harking back to a previous one when the rates hiked, and you said actually it's not really a hike. It's where they should have been anyway.
Yes, yeah.
And we've been living in cloud cuckoo land, getting used to these ridiculous. Are we going back there again?
I think investor confidence always seems to lag behind what's really going on. The challenge that people will have is that when the rates cuts do come, and they will come, that everyone will then pile into the market and be fighting over the deals. Now, the time to be looking and fighting for collecting the deals or hoovering stuff up is right now. So, and the other bit is we're talking like maybe a month down the line. So by the time you agree a deal and then start to put your lending in place, you'll probably be beneficially impacted by the cuts that are coming down the line anyway. So yeah, now is a very, very good time for investors to actually be acquiring as much stock as they can. So yeah, it's just
So you mentioned people are sitting on their hands. What do you think? What do you think they're looking to see that will give them the confidence to surge forward?
I think they just want to benefit from the incoming rates cuts. I honestly don't know how much it will move. I don't think it. I think they kept it where it was just to not get a bit overexcited on the inflation side of things.
Right.
They will when they do move, they will move it very, very gradually. So
yeah, so it's not. We're not looking for a huge
no,
hike, are we?
I don't think that will happen now. I think it'll be a very, very subtle drop in the rates, and yeah, it will possibly translate into maybe a few £100 a year saved on the mortgage. So
Right.
actually, is it worthwhile?
Yeah, exactly. So that's the question we're asking: is it worth hanging on for that extra 0.25% or whatever it's going to be? Is it really going to make so much of a difference?
No, it will negatively impact investors who are waiting because, as I said, everyone will start to pile into the markets, but they'll be waiting for that tipping point, and then they lose their first mover advantage. So if they're not in the market now, and then they are waiting for that, then they're just kind of screwing themselves because the competition will increase at the point that the race cut does happen. So yeah, it's a bit chicken and egg for lots of investors, but the reality is now's the time.
Is this a last-ditch attempt by a certain political party led by a diminutive fellow to grab headlines and perhaps skew the competition slightly?
I think they've all missed a huge window of opportunity. They've had months and months and months to come out, pull all sorts of tricks out of the bag, and it's all been a bit meh.
It's been a bit meh, hasn't it? There's not been much that you could say that's the reason why I'm going to do X.
Yes, yeah, and there's almost no distinction between any of the two. Well, it's really one uni party, isn't it? They just have different names.
Well, I think they should be called the Purple Party, which is a combination of the two. But I'm just worried by the spectre of a government who don't seem willing to make a strong change and may perpetuate the miasma that we are in. Yes, I know it's to your advantage right now, but long-term unsustainable, surely.
I think so as well. There's we were speaking with our coach the other day, and he quite rightly pointed out there's been a mass exodus of wealth out of this country. The resultant impact of that is that, well, if the government is trying to tax a fewer and fewer high percentile of high earners, and then everyone's left, well, where does it stop? There's a tipping point at some point that they're going to run out of money, and then where does that leave everyone else? So yeah, it's an interesting time. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's almost like a zero-sum game. It's just keeping itself above water just about at the moment.
I don't know. I feel very skeptical about the efficacy of a rate drop, and I think that it will, with some perhaps greener investors, they'll suddenly think that they've cashed up and they've hit the big score, while perhaps people like yourselves are sitting there waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah, when I first got into investing many moons ago, we were always taught to stress test our deals at 6%, with the expectation that that's pretty much where the market should be. So right. Yeah, it's just slightly under that at the moment, obviously, and yeah, there are some reasonably decent deals that now the market started to stabilise. Looking at the 2 and the 5 year rates, yeah, that you can see the swap rate starting to come back down. starting to look more realistic. So
are you optimistic for the near future from your perspective?
yeah, I think so. I think we have a number of different pipelines that just keep funneling deals into. I mean, just look at the performance that we've had this week. It's I imagine it's just a blip in that we don't have enough investors or enough capital at the moment.
Right.
We're certainly taking strides in both directions to increase both of those angles. But yeah, the future is looking very positive, certainly in the space that we operate in. So social housing, there's huge demand across the spectrum of social
Well,
housing.
it's an ever increasing and never ending demand, is it not?
Yes, and it's so all encompassing. So there are so many different cohorts with different requirements that you could niche down in so specifically into different sectors in the social housing space, and create a beneficial business that's actually giving back to the community as well. Yeah.
In the next incarnation of whatever shade of hue it is, do you think there's any likelihood we're going to get some social housing being built?
Oh, it's a really tough one. I know we've talked about this ad nauseum with both me and you, and also in the property quorum.
It's what's required, right? That would shake everything.
Yeah, I believe Labour. I think it was Labour. Anyway, like I said, I don't know. I
the
pay little attention.
The Liberals. Yes, go on.
They, I believe, they were talking about allowing from day one building on greenfield land. So a slap in the face to the Conservatives.
Wow.
Yeah, it's. I take it all with a pinch of salt. It's just all hot air. So, but we both know that they're been targeted to build 300,000 houses a year. They've not, in their best year, I think they've hit 120 in their best year.
Not even 50% of the target. Not even 50%.
Most of the time, it's pithy.
It's been I would say a D or an E if we were going to score it in the same way as school. See, must try harder. Really, could do far better.
Yeah,
and barely scrape the surface of it, right? With the relaxed rules on development, as far as smaller developments concerned, we were talking once before about potentially you or your ilk to redevelop smaller properties to make them better HMOs. Is that a thing? Is that a direction you're thinking of going in?
Yeah, we're still looking at some of the permitted development rights around that. So we're still waiting.
But they've relaxed some, haven't they? And we were talking about it.
They've relaxed a chunk of things. Yeah, we're still waiting for one or two things, and we're about to commission an architect to actually design a scheme as a blueprint for what we want to do moving forward.
That's exciting. Yeah. That's it. Well, it means that theoretically you could take a 3-bed, increase it height-wise, width-wise, slightly, and that would give you potentially enough rooms for what, 5, 6 adults?
Yeah. So the width is a bit more complex on a terraced house, but the depth, So
on a terraced house. I'm sorry. Yes, of course. Yeah.
But yes, with the intention of taking
depth and height. Depth and height is the interesting, because you can do interesting things with dormers and such, like, can't you?
That's correct. Yes, dormers on the back, and they're talking about all sorts of different developments that are on the horizon, which is really exciting. So it'll be interesting to see whether those all do come to fruition, or whether the next government just decides to do a U-turn on all that too.
Aye. It's but it is exciting, if slightly frustrating. But so these deals that are on the table, you're really looking for, because you've bled yourself dry by jumping in there with both feet and grabbing the best ones that you can. The ones that are left, I mean, 4 that have come across your desk just in the last week, you're looking for external investment, yes?
Yeah, we're looking for either capital investment, or someone who's just looking to build their own social housing portfolio. I believe 3 of the deals are HMO, and the 4th one is a baby buy-to-let, but all have provider exits lined up in the back end. So the provider wants the properties, we just need to actually purchase them and turn them around.
So, guys, you heard it first. Chris has got deals for you. And one of the best ways would be approach him on LinkedIn and say, I hear you've got deals. Let's talk. He either wants a capital injection, or maybe he wants to help you start your own property portfolio of properties of that kind. He's got HMOs, he's got buy-to-lets. I was going to ask you, Chris, I heard that buy-to-lets has become an onerous proposition.
Well, the way that we do it is not.
No, I know the way you do it. It's not. If anything, the way you do it makes it less than an onerous proposition.
Well, yeah, the provider offers between a 5 and a 10-year lease on the back end, so it's almost like set and forget.
Guys, I cannot tell you this is possibly the right way to do it, and certainly has been working very well for Chris. Any last words, Chris, before I wind this up?
No, I'm pretty confident that whatever happens today in terms of the new government coming in, it's going to be very much business as usual. So there's nothing really to worry about.
Wonderful. Well, okay, you can catch Chris on Property Quorum, which is 10 o'clock Thursdays, where he's one of the stalwarts who are there while we welcome guest speakers, talking about all things property market. If you want to talk about more things closer to home, but again about property, watch out for Property Musings, as I've now named it. And of course, on Friday, we've got Property Matters with Hamish McClay. But until next week, I wish all of you to enjoy the sun while we've got it. Remember, we are in a temperate climate, and also to look after that mental health. Thank you very much, Chris, and see you again soon. Bye-bye.